The boy who never spoke. Arav always entered the room quietly, as if afraid his presence might disturb the world. In meetings, his chair stayed slightly pulled back, a symbol of a man keeping himself away from the light. His mind was full of ideas, yet his mouth remained locked by fear. He often told himself, "Let others speak. They are better than me." That belief slowly became his identity. At home, relatives compared him to those doing better. Arav smiled politely, but each comparison cut deep inside. His mother once asked gently, "Why don't you speak more?" He wanted to answer honestly, but he only replied, "I'm fine." Late at night, the silence felt heavy. He stared at the ceiling, replaying moments where he could have spoken, but didn't. Regret slowly turned into self-doubt. He wasn't weak. He simply didn't believe in himself, and that lack of belief followed him everywhere, like a shadow that never left. The day everything broke, the presentation day arrived like a storm. Arav stood in front of the room. His palms were cold. His throat tightened. The room waited. Silence stretched until it hurt. He spoke, but his voice shook. Words stumbled out, unsteady and uncertain. Halfway through, he lost his flow. His manager frowned. That small movement shattered what was left of his courage. After the meeting, the manager said calmly, "Arav, you have knowledge, but you lack confidence." That sentence echoed louder than any insult. On the way home, the city lights felt blurry. He asked himself, "Why am I like this?" Tears formed not from failure, but from helplessness. The stranger and the sentence. Rain poured heavily that evening. Arav stood at a bus stop, soaked and empty. An old man sat beside him. After a long time, the man spoke. "You look tired." "Not physically." Arav looked at him, surprised. "You look tired of doubting yourself." "How do you know?" The old man smiled with wisdom and pain. "Because I once lived your life. Talent without belief dies silently. The world doesn't break us. We break ourselves with doubt." Before leaving, the old man stood up. He looked Arav in the eyes and said slowly, "Self-belief is your superpower." The bus arrived. The man left, but the sentence stayed. That night, Arav couldn't sleep. The sentence replayed endlessly. He sat up, heart pounding, picked up a notebook, and wrote honestly for the first time, "What if I'm not weak? What if I just never believed?" Years of self-blame loosened. The next morning, fear was still there, but something new stood beside it. Courage. In the office, when ideas were asked, Arav raised his hand slightly. His voice trembled. But he spoke. People listened. No one laughed. His heart raced not from fear, but from pride. The conversation with himself. Late that night, Arav stood in front of the mirror, the same mirror that once reflected a broken man. His eyes were red, his face was tired, but his gaze was different. "You failed?" he said aloud. "Yes," he replied to himself. "But you tried?" "I won't abandon you," he said softly to his reflection. "Even if you fail again." He realized something powerful. Self-belief wasn't about success. It was about loyalty to yourself, not leaving yourself alone in failure. Arav wiped his tears, straightened his shoulders. Fear was still there, but it no longer controlled him. Arav stood outside the manager's cabin. He knocked. "Come in." Arav walked in slowly and took a deep breath. "I'll take the role," he said clearly. The manager studied his face. "You understand what this means?" Arav nodded. "I might fail, but I won't hide." Walking out, his legs felt weak, but his heart felt strong. This wasn't confidence. This was courage backed by belief. The boy who never spoke had finally chosen himself. Months later, Arav stood at the same bus stop. Rain fell gently, just like that first night. A young man stood nearby, nervous and restless. Arav noticed the look in his eyes. "Long day?" The young man nodded. "I don't think I'm good enough." Arav smiled. "Neither did I. Belief doesn't mean you'll never fail. It means you won't leave yourself when you do." The bus arrived. Arav turned back and said softly, "Self-belief is your superpower." The doors closed. Arav stood tall and grounded, not fearless, but unbroken. The world doesn't need perfect people. It needs people who trust themselves enough to try. Arav walks forward into the crowd. No spotlight, no applause, just quiet strength. The boy who once hid had become a man who stood, not because fear left, but because belief stayed. Arav's journey began with a single sentence at a rainy bus stop. What is the one doubt you are ready to let go of today? Share your story in the comments below. If this story moved you, subscribe for more journeys of the heart. Remember, you are enough.